Hi, Wali. Welcome to Network Capital. We're excited for this conversation. Tell us who you are.
Thanks, Utkarsh, for having me. Very excited and happy to be here. So, my name is Wali Khan. I'm an engineer by trade. I have an MBA from NCR where we met each other. And currently, I run a sports marketing firm called Sports Connect. I had a life threatening, life changing motorbike accident in July 2018, about 7 months ago. And I will talk today on this masterclass about resilience and about overcoming difficult challenges.
So, what happened to you?
So I was going to work on 18 July 2018. I was going to work on my motorbike in Singapore just another day when I got into a road accident. Car hit me. I hit something, which is a blackout. I'm not sure exactly what I hit. When I woke up on the ground, I was in extreme pain. I couldn't move, and somebody came up to me and said, "Do not look at your leg." Long story short, I had broken my right ankle, my right shin bone had broken and come out in two pieces. My hip broke in six places, and also I had a broken shoulder. I spent 17 days in the hospital. I had multiple surgeries, and now I have a titanium rod in my hip. I have a titanium rod in my leg, which will stay with me all my life. But luckily, by a minor miracle, I am in one piece. I had no head trauma, I had no back injury, I didn't have paralysis, didn't have amputation, didn't have a hip replacement, all these things which were very, very possible.
What gave you the strength to overcome it?
So, there were some very bad moments, especially the first 3 4 weeks in hospital, where I was in extreme pain. I did not know what was going to happen to me. Will I live? If I live, will I ever walk? Will I ever play sports? Is life as I know it over? And there are a few things which got me through this. One of the main things was that I had amazing support from family and friends. My mother who was in New York at that time, flew over, stayed with me in my hospital room for 50 days, sleeping on a small sofa. My cousin from Pakistan flew over the next day. I had all these friends and family who had a roster, who would, there'd always be somebody there taking care of me. And so when I would wake up in the night and I would see somebody sitting there, I knew I'm not going to die. Somebody will take care of me. Apart from that, another thing was just taking things day by day. Because I had such a long journey. I was told that after 1 year, I may be able to walk without aid if everything went perfect. So my best case scenario was that I work extremely hard, do very strong physiotherapy, build my body back up to maybe get to zero, which was a very demoralizing thought. But how did I get through it? By thinking of life on a day by day, 24-hour basis. My time frame was 24 hours. I would wake up in the morning and I would think I need to survive until from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. I do my exercise, I do my physio, I go through the pain, and at night, which was much worse, my body was exhausted, I would get paranoid, I would get hallucinations of the painkillers. 9 p.m. I have to survive until 9 a.m. And that's it. So 24 hours, broken in 12-hour pieces, day to day to day to day. If I had thought anything longer than that, 1 month or 6 months, I start getting palpitation, I start getting out of breath. And this is something which applies to most things in life, which especially applies to entrepreneurs, something which I am as well. That things are so grey, you don't know what's going to happen, that if you think too far ahead, it starts to panic you. There's too much grey. So you have a plan, but you focus on day by day by day by day, and after 6 months, you realize, wow, I've done so many things and I'm so far ahead in my journey.
At one point, you were about to lose your leg. Tell us about that.
So, of course, all these things they told me much later. My friends, doctors, they always said everything is fine. You will eventually be okay. about a month after my accident, where I was still in hospital and I was getting better, that's when I started finding out the actual situation, which was that my leg they were not concerned about at all. When I came into the hospital on the day of the accident, they were looking for head injuries, internal bleeding, any important body parts which might be in danger, like punctured lungs or internal bleeding in my vital organs. Had they found any of those things, and they told me there are 8 things, had they found any one of those 8 things, they would not have looked at my leg, because my leg is not a priority. I can live without my leg. But by a miracle, really, I had nothing in my head, on my back, on my spine, on my neck, no internal organs broken. So they focused on my leg, and I was very very lucky. But even now, because my leg was outside for too long, broken, there is still a chance of infection, meaning that they'll have to go in, open my leg, and maybe do amputation. But I'm in one piece. I have all my original parts. Well, yes, I mean I've got titanium rod, which is tough, but I've got all my original parts. I had thought I was at halftime in my life. I'm in my early 30s. I'm 32 years old. I'm at halftime. I've got my whole life to live, and suddenly I realized that halftime might be end of game. This might be it. So from that moment where I could have been paralyzed or amputated, to be able to walk with, right now I walk with a walking stick, to be just able to walk and be independent, I have already won. Everything else is now a bonus. So apart from the day to day, the other thing which really got me going was, even the doctors were saying to me, you might walk, maybe, if everything goes well, you're not going to play sports, you can't run. Since I'm a very athletic person, I work out a lot from accident. It's something which I could not, I wasn't able to comprehend. I wasn't able to absorb that I might never ever play sports again. So one day, about 3 weeks after my surgery, I promised myself that either I let things go as they are, or I take control of my life. Whatever is in my control, I need to do my best. So I promised myself on the 1 year anniversary of my accident, I will run 5 kilometers. Is it possible? Will I be able to run? We still don't know. But I will do my level best. I will work as hard as I possibly can to achieve this goal. And suddenly this goal gave me something to look forward to, something to aim towards, rather than just exercising, which was excruciatingly painful. So now, instead of exercising 1 hour a day, which is prescribed, I exercise 3 hours a day. I go through extremely painful therapy. I push my body beyond its limits, because I have an aim and I have a goal. And I will do whatever is in my power, my capability to get to my goal. If out of my hands, it's out of my hands.
Tell us more about this run.
So, it started off as, I need to run. I need to get back control of my life, which then slowly morphed into, I will run 5 kilometers, something more specific, something more tangible to aim towards. From there, it moved to, I've had a very bad accident, I've had a very bad misfortune. I wanted to have some meaning. I want somebody else to have some benefit, to have some value add from my misfortune. So I decided that I will run 5 kilometers for Naman Knowledge City and raise money for students there. Naman Knowledge City is in Pakistan. It's a university where 97% of students study for free. It's one of the most impoverished and illiterate areas of Pakistan. And this was my goal, that if through my adversity, through my pain, somebody can benefit, it makes it so much more meaningful, just for personally for me. And I have gotten such an amazing response from people, because I started a blog in January 2019. I started a blog where I started documenting my journey, and I got such a good response from so many people, so many well-wishers. In 6-7 weeks, we now have a community on Facebook of 20,000 people. People have reached out to me and said, I will run with you. If you with titanium rods in your leg, if you can run, I've got bad knees, I'll run, I'll support you. So now it has become this thing where on 20th July in Singapore I'm running. I've got 40 people who come to me and said they will run because they're following my blog, following my journey. People in the US, somebody reached out to me on the blog and said, can I run in my city? So now we're getting all these runs organically happening all over the place with the goal to help students who don't have the resources to study, to make something of themselves. And this is something which gives me so much meaning, so much purpose, and this is something which has now become the purpose of my life. And what I have learned is that from a bad experience, from a very bad misfortune, in my case from a very bad accident which changed my life, from 6 months of extreme pain, of depression, of very, very moments where I hit rock bottom, something good can come out. From every bad moment, every adversity, we can find a silver lining. And for me, a silver lining is I have found a purpose for my life. I found a goal which will help somebody else, something which is bigger than myself.
Tell us about the stages of pain. You went through a traumatic experience. How did you process it?
So, well, processing, initially, I almost refused to acknowledge that this is it. My life as I know it is over. But the first week, I was in an ICU for 7 days where they were waiting to operate on me. My compound fractures all over my leg from my ankle to my hip were so complicated that they had to wait for Singapore's top trauma specialist to be available. That first week where every single movement hurt so much was extremely painful. I was on very strong painkillers, but I was still in extreme pain. But the pain evolved from extreme pain where I couldn't move an inch to getting to a place where after surgery the pain became a little less, but I couldn't move my leg. So the pain became moving the leg slowly through excruciating pain. There were other types of the mental pain of this feeling of complete impotence that I was in the physically the best condition of my life. Now I'm like a little baby. I can't move myself. They would give me sponge bath, which was extremely demeaning, which really broke my ego. I would get diaper changes, which was again something which completely broke me. And I think it broke me and it remade me. Because I found out that I have this extreme reserve of resilience which I can now tap into. After that, there was other pain. Once I started, after 3 months, when I went on crutches, I had extreme back pain. I was already home. I went home in wheelchair after 72 days. But when I got on crutches, I started for the first time walking vertically. My back had no muscles. And after walking for 2 minutes, I would have such strong back pain that I would, even though I was on medication, I would have to sleep on the hard floor. I couldn't sleep on the bed. So the pain evolved. Right now, there's not much pain in my hip and my shin bone where the accident happened. The pain is that my body is just, after such a big trauma accident, it is not up to speed. I go out of my house 3-4 hours, I'm done, I'm destroyed. So it really, there's a physical pain, then there's a mental pain of feeling of impotence, feeling of wow, my life is over, having these days where you hit rock bottom, you don't want to get out of your room, where you think, is my life even worth it? I'm going to do all this for the exercise to what? To get to a place where I might maybe be able to walk. It really gets you down. But then, as long as the positive days are more than the negative days, which now is the case, that because I have an aim, I have a goal, I have a purpose, I simply realize that okay, today is going to be a bad day. Because sometimes I wake up, it's a bad day. Sometimes small things happen which made me realize, wow, today is going to be bad. It's okay, let today pass. Today I will, it's a write-off. But tomorrow, Wali, promise yourself, you will get back on the horse, you will work hard, and you will do whatever is in your hands to reach your goal. Because the only thing that is important is to not have what ifs. There are so many things in life which are out of our control. My accident, it was almost out of my control because it was a series of things that happened where if I had gotten to that place where I was a second before, second late, there would be no accident. So what is out of my control is out of my control, but what is in my control, I will do my best. So At the end of the journey, whatever journey you are on, you should not think maybe I should have done more, should have done differently. You should think I did my best, didn't happen. The rest I leave to Allah, Bhagwan, whoever I pray to, I leave to nature, I leave to fate.
Do you ever ask yourself, why me? It's different from what if.
So that's a very interesting question because now sometimes the thought comes into my head. Initially, I did not let that thought even be entertained because I realized that if I start thinking that, I'll go down this well of negativity where I'll be so depressed I won't be able to come back. I have so many things to be depressed about, I cannot start opening that door and going down that road. Because you're right, why me? But at the same time, why me having so many good things? Why am I allowed to walk? Why am I allowed to have good education? All those positive things, why me? We assume that we have some sort of, how to say, that we have a right to things. We have no right to anything. This also I learned after my accident that why do I have a right to walk? Why do I have a right to money? Why do I have a right to sit here right now with you and have this conversation? No, nothing in life is a right. Everything we should be grateful for, we should be happy for. So now, every single day I'm happy, I'm grateful. I'm grateful I can walk. I'm grateful I'm in a position to do something that I want to do. We need to be grateful to every single little thing in life. Just this change in mindset will completely change our definition of happiness, our definition of what life is all about. So I celebrate every single little achievement. When I first raised my leg, I celebrated it. When I first sat in a chair, I celebrated it. When I first stood up, I celebrated it. Now I can walk with a walking stick, I celebrate it. Every day in the morning, I'm grateful. What are the 5 things you're grateful for? I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have a fantastic family. I'm grateful to not be in a wheelchair. I'm grateful to not be paralyzed. I'm grateful to be in a position where I might be able to run. So once we change mindset from why me to why not me, it completely changes our perspective. But of course, Utkarsh, there are still days where I think, when I wake up in the morning, I get out of bed and everything is just hurting. And I think, God, you know, maybe you could have taught me these lessons just by breaking my leg. Not my leg and my ankle and my hip and my shoulder, not breaking whole of me. But this is part of the journey. This is part of, making me understand and making me figure out what life's all about. So we can never ever think, why me?
Gratefulness is definitely an acquired training that most of us have to go through. Talk to me about the failures, the days when you didn't feel grateful, or were there days at all like that?
Well, in the first 6 weeks, every single night. Because in the day I was still a bit positive. I would have my doctor coming in the morning, then having breakfast, then my physio coming and doing physio, then some friends coming, going for a stay. There was always something going about, so my mind was occupied. But around 9:10 p.m. my body was spent, and then people were gone. I was alone. I had time with my thoughts, and as the night progressed, I would get hallucinations every single night. I would be in extreme pain. My leg was in pain, my hip was in pain, my whole body was in pain, and I would talk to God. I would be angry at God, saying, "Why me? Why are you doing this to me? Just make it stop. Make it stop in any way you can. The pain is too much. I can't take it." But I think over time I built this narrative. I had a trauma therapist Singapore government sends to every patient who's gone through such heavy trauma scenarios as me, and she helped me understand that, again, take it day by day. Be grateful. Focus on getting well, because, and this became my narrative that Wali, God does not put you in any situation which you cannot survive. Our minds are amazing. We usually don't tap into the full extent of our mind. only when we are pushed into very difficult situations, when we are back against the wall, when we are on the edge of the cliff, when we are at the bottom of the barrel, do we need to reach into the recesses of our mind to really reach deep and just to survive. And that's where we understand that we have so much strength. I found so much strength which I did not have, and that helped me get through very, very dark days. I still have dark days. The only thing is that over time, because time, in my case, time is your friend. As time passes, you start healing. So over time, the dark days have become less frequent, but they are still there. And also now I know better how to handle them.
We are so grateful that you're alive and you've trained yourself to become here. But many people suffer even worse traumas and are not able to bounce back. Do you have any word of advice or suggestion? Because many people have reached out to you um,
Yes.
once you became got public with the blog and the other things. So tell us, one, why did you go public? When did you go public? And second is that what advice would you have for people who are in positions that are worse off than you?
So why I went public is when I told my therapist. Also, by the way, therapy is something which, I mean, you will relate to this. As a Pakistani man, we don't do therapy. We talk to friends maximum. We do not go to a therapist to talk. And initially, I was very hesitant. But then, once this lady would come every single week, and I opened up, and she really helped me out.
Yeah, not just an Indian or a Pakistani, but I think in many cultures
Yes,
it's
yes.
really frowned upon.
Yes, it's a sign of weakness.
Sign of weakness.
And this became a sign. This became a very big strength for me, which again changed my perspective on this as well, opened me up. And when I told her that I'm visualizing that my 1 year anniversary, I'm going to run, and this keeps me motivated, keeps me positive. She said, put it out there. She said, put it out there, so then when people look at it, and it's you have social pressure, and it will help you motivate you. And I'm a private person. I don't. My Facebook is completely empty. I don't share many things. So for me, it was really getting out of my comfort zone. But already I was out of my comfort zone so much. A friend of mine who again said to me that in October when I was at home, put it out there. So then the bug was planted. My therapist and my friend, and I started writing just for myself in November, December about what will I do, what will I write, how to put it out there. And in January, first week of January, I made my page, which is called on Facebook Overcome with Wali, and I made my first blog post. And we was basically about my journey, and I was uncomfortable, but I got such a amazing response which was beyond my expectation or even my thought, where people said, wow, you're doing a great job, running for Namal, raising money, and in your case, how you still have some positivity. And people started reaching out to me. I have a similar problem. I went through something similar. And this then became a community where a lot of people, we all share our adversity, share our hard moments, and about how we are overcoming different things. And so now it's morphed into from, one post about gym and one Sunday post about my blog to making posts every day and making this community, which more than helping other people is helping me. This is fuel to my fire. It motivates me. It gives me energy to really achieve my goal of running, which, as I said to you, now there are 35, 40 people in Singapore who will run with me. We should have 4 more months, so who knows how big this gets. Regarding advice for people going through something similar,
Or worse.
so in my case,
I'm sure some people have reached out to you in a position who have not been able to bounce back.
absolutely. So I thought what I'd gone through is very bad. But then people have reached out to me who are going through so much pain, so much mental trauma as well as physical, that I said to them that I don't know how, you're saying to me how I'm going through and being positive. I don't know how you are so positive. I mean, there was a guy who broke both his legs. For me, one leg was broken. I had one leg. I cannot even imagine if you break both your legs, how do you survive? There are people who have gone through somebody's daughter who had paralyzed from an age of 4, people who've lost limbs, people who've gone through mental stuff. And where I cannot even begin to imagine how they are facing their demons every day. One advice I would have is that you need to make an aim, an objective, which then becomes your target and pushes you. If there is no objective, then it is very difficult to motivate yourself on a daily basis because the struggle is so hard, the mountain is so high. So have an objective, but then break it down into small steps, small daily steps. Because if you have a very long-term horizon, you can't reach. Then the most important thing is be patient in the macro and be impatient in the micro. On a daily basis, I need to really do my stuff, but it's going to take time. I need to be patient in the long run. What I'm doing, building up my body, exercising every day, has gotten me to a place where after 6 months of extreme therapy, I can just about walk for a bit with a walking stick. So it takes time. You need to keep focused, and daily bad days. You cannot push the bad days away, you cannot suppress it. Let the bad feelings come over, let them wash over you, feel them because they are part of who you are. Feel them, absorb them, let them pass. Tomorrow will be a better day.
Have you found research material or books or other stuff that have helped you through the journey?
Thank you for mentioning this, Utkarsh. I completely, wouldn't have mentioned this, but it completely crossed my mind. Yes, the first book my therapist gave me, which again put things into perspective, as you mentioned, right? There are people who are going through much worse stuff. So my thing sometimes looks in comparison like nothing. There's this book called Choice by this lady, Agar. I'll tell you the full name. She is an Auschwitz survivor, and she was 13, 14 years old when she spent 3 years in a concentration camp. And from there, she went to the US. She made something out of herself, and she then helped inspire so many people using her own adversity, something which is extremely horrible, and putting it into a positive thing. The book is called Choice, and this gave me perspective that wow, if she can do it and use her adversity and helping people, making positive change, what is my excuse? Another book is called Man's Search for Meaning by this guy called Michael Singer. Again, a guy who went to Auschwitz. And
Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl, sorry. Not Michael Singer, the other one. This book is again something very similar and gives you so much perspective on life, on what is important, what is not important, and how you can go through your journey, go through your adversity and make something good of it, which is right now my aim. My next aim is that if I'm able to run on 20th July, it's still a very, very big if, then my next step is I will do wakeboarding. Wakeboarding is something I was doing before my accident, but wakeboarding needs so much leg strength, so much core strength I don't have right now. I will do it, my next challenge. Then 2020 summer, I plan to go to the base camp of K2. I've gone to the base camp of one other mountain, which is also 7,000 plus meters, in 2007 when I was very young and I was fully fit. Now my goal is summer 2020, base camp of K2. So just giving yourself a challenge, you reach that goal, next challenge, next challenge, and from all these things, maybe it will motivate 1 or 2 people that they can also overcome that adversity. If this happens, it makes my whole journey meaningful.
It's been such a pleasure learning about your journey, and once this goes out, I'm pretty sure your video will reach thousands of people, and you'll have far more than 40 people join you for the run in Singapore. And maybe we can think of doing a peace run globally for people who are surviving or who are going through different challenges.
Usko 100%. One last thing I'd like to say, please join me on my journey. I need the motivation, I need the positive support. On Facebook it's Overcome with Wali, WALI, and on Instagram it's walikhan.86. Later we'll give you the
We're
actual
going to
page
add
details.
the links to your podcast.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. Thank you for having me, and I hope this can motivate somebody, and this can help my message reach more and more people and be a source of inspiration.
I'm confident it will. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.